PENTA Sports, and we are here on Border. Let's tune on in and see those operator selections, starting with Millenium on attack, PENTA on defense.
IQ, Blackbeard, Hibana, Ash, Sledge versus a Smoke Bandit, Mira, Valkyrie, Castle. IQ, somewhat a surprise, but not really. I mean, we're talking about Border here. There's going to be a lot of contention over on that north side of the building, going for those north balcony control. And IQ basically single-handedly makes that possible for the attackers, getting out those cameras that will almost certainly be thrown out. Now, PENTA's going to start down in the ventilation, which I think we've seen them do before. They do like to mix things up, keep the other team on their toes, and this is a good call here from PENTA. Is going to mean that there will not be a Thermite on the Millenium side. Now, Thermite's not essential on an upstairs or a downstairs attack, but on a downstairs attack especially, it's going to slow the attackers down even more. Where if you're defending Armory, you're going to reinforce those top floor walls, right? And then they're going to try and open those single layer walls open, and that's fine. You could do that with Hibana. Now, when you're defending a ventilation, you're going to reinforce both the downstairs walls and the upstairs walls. And there's just an extra layer of defense that you might not have enough Hibana charges to get all the way through. We'll see how it is Millenium chooses to attack it, though, if they go for a top-down clear, as we see so commonly done here, or if they'll simply push in through that tellers into bathroom.
Yeah, I think it might have been Unnight, if I recall correctly, or some team I remember played this very differently, where they would play horizontally first time around on defense, they then play vertically the second time around on defense on this bomb site. And it was almost like watching the difference between holding on Cafe, holding the mining room and fireplace vertically with a 5-man offsite, or horizontally 5-man offsite, or playing it vertically at piano.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see that in the middle of a game. You know, usually a team will pick one and commit to it, and being able to change on the fly is really nice. And that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of from both of these teams, obviously. Teams well known for their adaptation in mid-range, or mid-match game analysis. You
can see Falco pre-firing some of the most common spots that you'll see players duck themselves into, especially inside of the fountain. But we have PENTA here. 3 members from PENTA are going to be inside of the archives. They're going to open up the bathroom, or not the bathroom, the server drop hatch leading down into the unit there.
And Millenium's just trying to push on through these main office into archives, get control over that armory. Once they have control over the armory, they're going to start to open up holes in the floor, get that vertical game established, and try to pressure the anchors. They've got to deal with these roamers first, though, and that's the first big hurdle. It does seem like Millenium's actually not going to focus on archives or armory. They're just going for a offices teller into bathroom take, and this is something we've seen. I think it was pioneered by Vertical Gaming in quite a while ago. I think maybe in year 1, season 3, or this last season, but it is a very well polished attack.
All right, so Goga has been spotted out here. Renshiro's going to go for a little bit of a shot through the wall. Misses target, as that is going to be a half wall that is indestructible or impenetrable. 50 seconds left to go, still a 5-on-5. Renshiro's going to lead the spearhead in, but he did not see necessarily Eunice on the left side of the doorway there. However, Goga gets tapped. He's going to move on over, back himself up in between the lockers on the window side inside of the locker site. Eunice still going to lay down a couple fires from the middle site, and we have Stizzy picks up the first kill onto KS. That's taking out the Mira. That was also down inside of the servers. We're going to have one retreat back onto site. All of PENTA is now back here, except for Goga, who's here still trying to lay down as much pressure as possible. Nades are going to come in. Renshiro picks up the kill as Stizzy gets another one. Eunice going to trade it off here onto Stizzy. Picks up a double kill, and then Fabian will get traded out by Eunice. A 1-on-3 now, with Eunice being the last man alive. He's got to grab this ace. He starts it off nicely. He grabs for a 3rd kill, but is traded off instantly by Renshiro, and that's going to be round 1 going to Millenium.
Nice try there from Eunice, but as you can clearly tell, Millenium seeming very dominant on that attack, and it might have actually been a miscalculation on PENTA's part to be going down at the ventilation first. They didn't really seem to have much control over the archive side of that top floor defense, and they defaulted a little bit too early. Now, here's the problem with their default. What we saw from PENTA in that last round was they didn't just fall back to the site or just hold upstairs and draw a line in the sand. They half defaulted, half held.
Yep.
We saw Goga. Yeah,
Goga stayed up.
Saw Goga on that Valkyrie stay upstairs far too long, and then he's basically a dead man at that point, being pushed by a Blackbeard, and then he's got an IQ coming from behind him. No, he's done. So that's just a sacrifice there. That's just him dying for no reason. Meanwhile, the rest of his team falling back, which means they can't get those refrags, those so important refrags, Now Millenium has full control over the top floor. They've got the man advantage, and they just need to push on into the site and kill the anchors one by one, and that's just what they did there. Now, PENTA going to be going on to their attack. Millennium's going to be focusing on this top floor, not going to try and mix things up here. They want to go for the tried and true armory defense.
Yeah, and we are going to see more of a closer angle, a close-knit defense here inside of the offices. That's going to be the east end of that top floor. Basically, there's a couple different ways to hold that offices spot. We've seen it inside of the CCTV room, covering all of Fountain, all of office. We've seen it inside of Fountain, which is where we're seeing it now, covering the offices and reinforcing the west stairs wall. Typically, though, I mean, either are pretty viable.
Really just comes down to where it is that PENTA chooses to attack from, where those if those mirror windows are rendered useful or useless. Now, it does seem that PENTA wants to clear out the roamers. As you can see, Falco's being droned out by Fabian. KS is going to be the follow-up for that drone. It's not going to catch Falco, as Falco's already rotated over to the server stack, but KS will see that called out in just a second. Oh, a nice headshot there from KS onto Falco. That's a really important kill. Falco always able to wreak havoc when he's left to his own devices on his roam game, and in this case, he won't be able to do that.
Yeah, being taken out very early on, and he barely wasted any kind of time. I mean, PENTA still has 2 minutes, 2 whole minutes to try to fortify themselves and push their way in. A very successful bandit swap, though, as no one's underneath to try to push bandit off.
Yeah, it would have been a really efficient play if KS had rotated over to that front door immediately to get rid of this bandit. And more importantly, Goga could have equally just have waited. But we will have the wall opened nonetheless, and the second thermite charge is not essential for this push.
Yeah, they just want to open up the wall enough so that it can ultimately lead for a quick entry point in. Now, behind the half wall is going to be Renshiro. There's most likely going to be a nade from KS to go up there. Looks like he's instead just going to shoot the floor. And he will not tag Renshiro down. The shotgun just does not do the damage it needs to, but the shock drone will get the final kill here. No, it won't. Looks like he gets destroyed. Renshiro is injured. Pengu has called out. They know there's one man down. It means they know that the last few members are going to be inside of the archives and lockers. Yogurt's going to be behind the mirror window.
See, this is why you bring Doc.
Oh, a good shot there. Goga will fall to the headshot as Yogurt picks up the frag. Eunice and Pengu trying to move on in. There is still a C4 in the hands of Yogurt. He's now looking from behind, making sure that no one's going to go up the middle corridor. Plenty of time here. However, Pengu's tags 1 kill as Eunice gets traded on down by Yogurt. 2-on-1 now with Renshiro, still bleeding from behind the half wall.
He actually could get picked up right now if Yogurts went for it, but I think he's a little bit scared. No, he's going to go for the pickup, and he's going to get it. That's huge.
He's going to try, and he will be successful. Pengu, though, smacks another kill down onto Yogurts. Last man alive is going to be Renshiro. Now, you know he's picked up. You know where he is. So it's just a matter of trying to hold down the fort, and it looks as though they will give him the reign of the locker room. C4's going to come on out by Pengu, and there Renshiro picks up 1. Kenny grabs a kill there onto Fabian. He's going to frag the right side, tries to pre-fire the wall. Fabian, however, does have the softer angle. Diffuser was successfully planted, though, and that means Fabian's going to be in the head as Renshiro moves on over, goes for the pre-fire, hits him just a little bit, but not enough, and Fabian, showing that he's strong as a statue, able to get that kill down without taking a blink of an eye, and Fabian will win it. PENTA now going up on round 2.
And right you are, a statue he was. Now, most players would have started flinching as soon as they got hit through the wall there. But Fabian just was like, okay, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to wait for you to peek the angle. I know you have to, and I'm going to win that fight. And he did just that to clutch out the round. Well played to him. And nice attempt there from Millenium. But to be honest, it was a lot closer than it needed to be. PENTA seemed to have the round cinched. They unfortunately lost 2 players simply pushing into that mirror window that was left unhindered.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately they knew that it was going to be very difficult to try to get past that mirror window with
They had a Habana though. That's the perplexing
well,
part.
They used all 3. So what happened is once
you're right, yeah,
once the first thermite charge went away, they tried to Habana the bottom of that left panel.
That's just honestly, that's just overlapping there from PENTA.
Yep.
Now again, we talked about what I started this whole thing with is like, yeah, it could have been a lot easier of a round for PENTA. They made it more complicated than it needed to be. They wasted their Habana charges completely. They wasted a thermite charge, although that's redundant. It doesn't change anything. Actually, it could have changed a little bit, but beside the point. They wasted a thermite charge, they wasted all of their Habanas, and because of that, they had to contend those mirror windows without any direct challenge, any way to actually win the fight. Mira then was left to kill 2 people who went for that, or attempted to get the defuse plant as far out as they could, and it was just 2 free kills. The angle was there for Mira, and that's all she wrote, really. Now, despite that, of course, PENTA did manage to win the round, and now we've seen so far 2 successful attacks here on border and no successful defenses. As Millenium go on to their attack, they are going to be going into a PENTA's armory hold, which is in contrast to what they PENTA tried the first round, which was ventilation. And this might be the mix-up that PENTA needs. I think this is one of the reasons they go to different bomb sites for the first round, or even just rounds you don't expect. Even in overtime, they'll go to something weird. And I think the reason they do that is because they know they have the maneuverability. If they lose here, they'll go to the other site and they'll try to mix things up.
Yeah, they're still confident on it. It's not that they have a lack of confidence on this site. It's just that, hey, we're going to try it on this other site. If we don't get it, guess what? We'll go back to a confident site.
And being able to just maneuver mentally as well as actually in the game in that context is super important. It's a trait that not a lot of teams have. I think Millenium is a little bit more loose than a lot of other teams, so similar to PENTA in that respect, but they're still not on the same, like, okay, we'll just do whatever we need to do to win. Yogurt's gonna get the first kill onto Eunice. That's downstairs. One of the roamers eliminated. That seemed to have been, oh yeah, that was through the hallway. So he went through box into the main hallway. That's a nice kill onto the roamers. That's the same exact roamer that was eliminated for Millenium last round, but not quite as early on. Already half of the round has progressed, and just now the roamer's being eliminated.
Now there is 1 set of Hibana pellets left to go, and you can see right here, they've opened up the left and the right side wall, so they're going to have to pick one of them if they want to get inside. Age is going to come on in. Fabians will try to answer with his own shot at some bullets there from the MP7. 60 seconds to go. Ranchier's trying to hold down the crossover from the Archives into lockers. KS might fall victim to it here. He's going to tuck himself back into the corner of Archives by the window in the east balcony.
Falco looking for the fight. Renchiro as well, over by offices. A little bit of a spread out attack here from Millenium, and again, they have nothing to contend with this Mira, although it sounded like it was open just now.
It did sound like it was opened, and they also know that Pengu went behind the half wall, but the nades from Falco have already been utilized. So he's going to stick right there. He's going to have some smoke grenades in his hand, but he does get injured. That's going to be a call out, however, Fabian's going to try to trade on over, move in, and Stizzy, I don't think saw him.
He's gonna get
so we are going to have him get picked up. The Liven tosses in 1 nade, tags down Pengu with a frag, and we have Stizzy able to get the shots down onto Fabian, but gets traded in return. You got 3 on 1 now. Goka's last man alive. He tags down Ranchiro, goes for Liven, but misses, and we are going to have Millenium secure round number 3. They go up yet again in another round, 2-1.
So we've been seeing a lot of reflex between these two teams in the way that these rounds are conducted. The attackers very clearly, I mean, we've seen now 3 attack wins in a row. But more importantly, the roam game has been coming from both of the teams, but has been completely useless. I mean, it hasn't really done anything. When PENTA defended ventilation first round, we saw the roam game upstairs just flop. When Millenium defended armory, their first defense, we saw their downstairs, that was Falco, he just completely got annihilated in the first 40 seconds. And then when we saw just now from PENTA is the same thing. That roamer downstairs, sure, he wasted a little bit more time, but he didn't actually directly waste said time. It was just the attackers being slow. And thus we've seen now 3 attack wins outright, because the roam games haven't really been changing anything at all. And I think that is probably the most highly contributing factor to each of these losses. But more importantly, all these attacks seem to be extremely well conducted.
Yep, now we are going to have a rehost, ladies and gentlemen. It looks as though there might be a connection/ping issue for one of the players there on Millenium, as we saw. But with that, I mean, we're going to get underway with round number 4. And I think we are seeing the closeness between these two teams that we were expecting. Maybe not that the community was. They were thinking it was going to be an 80-20 victory in favor of PENTA.
It was pretty extreme.
Yeah. But Millenium has come out very strong. They're going to lead after the 3rd round in this first map. But again, this is their pick. Consulate was PENTA's pick, and the last and final map, if I remember correctly, was Oregon, which ultimately is we'll call it a common decider map for many teams.
Yeah, a common decider map, but usually it finds its way into the best of 3 somewhere. You know, Oregon's one of those maps that does show up, whether you like it or not. It's a good map, though.
Yes.
I think it's well-rounded. Maybe not as much as what we're seeing right now. Border and Consulate, two of probably, I think, widely considered to be the 2 most competitive maps in Siege right now.
I think so. I mean, Cafe used to be during Season
Well,
1. It's kind of fallen off.
Cafe, you know, Cafe is a competitive. I mean, it's a good map, but I feel it's a little bit more linear
Yes.
than what we get out of these 2. I mean, Cafe's 2 staircases. You know, I mean, arguably 3 if you count the lobby one, but that doesn't go to all 3 floors. And there's so many bottlenecks. I mean, but whatever the case be, you know, on all of the maps that we have for this best of 3 today, they are going to be very well balanced.
One of the things I want to bring up, just as we fill up and talk about Border some more, I've heard the controversy that Skyscraper is similar to Border because of the balconies, but I don't necessarily get the same feeling as in the sense of, yes, I know what you're thinking, in the sense that you have a balcony game on Skyscraper. You've got balconies that go almost all the way around the entire map. Same with Border, and
no, that actually that's a good point.
So,
but,
so what I want to get at and want to get your opinion on is what makes Border so much more viable, or why is it played so much more often than Skyscraper if people are arguing that, okay, it's similar in the sense that the balconies are similar, that they go around the map and people play the balcony game?
Well, outside of the balcony game, there's still many ways for you to conduct yourself on Border. You don't have to commit to that balcony game.
Yes.
That's not something that you... That's not the only way to get into the building. On Skyscraper, it's a little bit more complicated. The other ways to get into the other avenues to make control over the building and start to poise yourself. So let's just talk about, we're talking about the context of an armory defense on Border, and we're talking about a karaoke tea room defense on Skyscraper. So the 2 more common ones on both those bomb sites. Now, because the drum is open, and that gives the defenders then a distinct amount of control over the reception area, you can't really come in. Okay, that cuts off the entire east side of the building as an entry option for the attackers. They can't come from drum because that's a bottleneck. The defenders can easily hold that from a 90-degree angle. They also can't come from reception or the first floor of the east side. The only way they can come from east side is arguably through delivery, but if you're going to go through that, you're not going to go through east. You're just going to come through the delivery doorways. So the east entryway is kind of rendered useless. The whole east side of the building, when you're defending that floor, is just poof, it's kaput. That means that the attackers then get shuffled into those balconies in what we were talking about, or what you were talking about earlier with that balcony game. Whereas on Border, so let's talk about an armory attack. You can come from CCTV, and that will force you into taking from the balconies. And that's why we see things like that mirror window facing towards the main hallway, which can also see the south door of the balcony, which gives you so much control. And we see defense teams invest so heavily in that. And that basically eliminates CCTV as an option, but you can come into the offices, and the offices is a really easily achievable beachhead. You take control over an east stairway, you take control over the balcony, and yes, it is a balcony, but you can't be contested directly by the defenders more often than not. So you take control of that offices, then you have an actual feasible beachhead to work with moving into your attack. So Border is just a little bit more well-balanced than that, but more importantly also, this thing we talked about with the east building on Skyscraper, the entire first floor on Border. You can come in there, you can get so much control.
Yes, and so as we get underway here, let's move back into the game. We're going to be on round 4 here on Border. Again, that is the first map in this best of 3 series. Because Penta started out on attack for round 4, they will be back here on the blue squad, and we will have Millenium picking up the defense. Again, round number 4. We've already done 3 rounds so far. Millennium took the first 2, or took 2 out of the first 3. And we'll now see if they can widen that lead, or if Penta's going to get this back into an even round count.
Right, and I think honestly I'm betting for even round count, to be completely fair here. It's attacker, 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 attacker winning each and every one of these rounds. Now, what Millennium needs to do in order to mix that notion up is Falco needs to make something happen on his own. He needs to achieve something. Now, we did talk about this earlier, but it's actually really interesting to me personally that Falco is playing Jaeger and not Pulse. On a map like Border, you expect to be seeing that Pulse come into play. On a player like Falco. Falco, arguably one of the greatest Pulse players of all time. He's been around since the beginning. He pioneered Pulse play.
He worked with Pulse when Pulse was not Pulse.
Yeah, he and players like Troy, Canadian. You know, there's been a lot of specific names that pop to mind when you think about about a pulse player, and Falco is one of those. And
Definitely.
having him play on that Jaeger, I mean, it's not really going to hurt him at all necessarily, but I mean, it does eliminate one factor of his gameplay, which is that vertical with the heartbeat detector up into denying that diffuse plant from below with the C4.
And we did see some of the murder holes, or some of the holes in the floor being already put into place by Renshiro. Eunice, however, just rushing on in from Valley Spawn into the east stairwell.
Aggressive. Normally you'd see this kind of aggression when one of his teammates is droning for him, but Eunice is just going bareback by himself.
Now, they have spotted out Falco. He's going to be droned out and detected again inside of servers. Eunice, I mean, this is a little risky, but at the same time, they do have a thermite to back him up should Eunice not be able to secure this kill onto Falco. Falco is tucked away into the corner. I think he sees the gun. He goes for the shot. What a wall bang, just seeing the narrow tip of the gun. Eunice picks up the first early kill again onto Falco. We talked about how important Falco needs to be in this roam game, and it just did not go through today.
Yeah, Penta very clearly applying a lot of emphasis to that roam hunt. They had 4 players going for Falco there, and you could tell Falco recognized that he was being hunted as he was eliminated so quickly in that previous round. But despite the fact that he was playing so passively, it wasn't enough. And Penta now going to be in a sound man advantage, still have half the round to conduct this attack, and they have now opened up the A wall. They also likely have Habanas this time to open that Mira, or at least a buck from below, possibly.
Now it looks as though Goga will get the second wall opened up. That leaves all of that west balcony wall completely renovated. We will see Stiz also get taken out here, and I think that was by Fabian, possibly.
Yeah, that's going to be the Mira
he opened up the drop
disabled.
hatch. Eunice actually first. Yogurt fell down, and he didn't get seen. And there goes the shots. Now Eunice able to pick up the trade, but KS will fall before it happens. A 2-on-4 now with Renshiro still tucked around between the 2 lockers. Eunice heard the shots, but he's not going to peek up just yet. Goga and Pengu might be moving in towards the half wall here momentarily. There goes the peek on up from the bearing 9, and that's going to be Eunice taking out the 4th member from Millenium. Last Man Alive gets live in. He gets tagged down from behind, though. And it looks as though that's going to be a Penta victory. It's now 2-2.
And yet again, the attacker win streak continues. No defenses yet, and you know, to take a step away from the map and all the different little factors between these two teams. I mean, both of them are very aggressive paced teams. They're not very slow. They're not slow on their attacks or their defenses. And as you can tell here, I mean, it's favoring the attackers just exclusively because of that.
I think with both of these teams, you talk about their fast pace. What allows them to do that, I feel like, is their decisiveness. Yeah. They make the decision to do something and they go and do it. And then if mid-game they decide, hey, we need to do something else, they instantly make that decision. They don't wait around and then weigh all the options. They already know this is what needs to get done. They commit to it right away.
So Penta bringing us to customs. And this is the bomb site that we've seen Penta bring us to on Border before, and almost no other team. It's essentially, I think it's probably one of the least defended sites overall. I actually maybe Tellers is now since Penta is starting to play this, but it really does not. It's not a site that people prefer. Penta has a really nice setup for it, though. They bring Goga upstairs to open that murder hole onto the A window. They also have plenty of holes in the wall of A that can establish line of sight onto the A window. Then they maintain control over CCTV using that mirror window we talked about before towards the hallway in the same way you would if you're holding Armory. So they've got full control over CCTV, which gives them full control over B, and using the holes in the floor as well as the angles through the wall, they have full control over A. So it's a really nice, and for being a not strategic, quote-unquote strategic team, this is a really nice strategy from Penta.
You know, I think what we'll see here is if there starts to get too much pressure applied to the CCTV room, I feel what we're going to see is Penta rotate back downstairs, and we'll see a very viable and solid contingency plan, because Penta always has a backup.
Yeah, and I mean, they have Goga on that pulse, so if they have to fall downstairs, they not only have Goga C4, but also, wait, no, KS I think brought a shield for this strat.
He did.
So, yeah, they will have the Goga C4, though, at least, and the majority of that CCTV floor is destructible, so that's at least one kill on the push-in. However, you can see here, Fabian and Junis as well as KS are challenging this south doorway. Renshiro doesn't know it, but he is being contended by 4 players, if you count that Pulse, who is also inside CCTV. Falco, meanwhile, going to push into the offices, and he's going to be challenging this from the Archives angle. This might be the right way to go about addressing this defense. but they're gonna have to. Oh, wow, Juice is active banditing that.
Ooh, and he's gonna smack down the shots there onto Falco. Sledge just opened up that door, but before he could even put his hammer away, the MP7 comes whipping him across the face. Now a minute and a half left to go. Eunice will get flashed, but he's able to still stand tall, stand strong. Ranchier's gonna move into Fountain, and the 3-speed of Eunice will then rotate over. He hopped into the window, down the hatch he goes, over into servers.
This might be the very first defense win we're gonna be seeing on this map. Penta's looking very strong on this defense, and Millenium doesn't seem to know how to handle it.
They do seem to be struggling right now. They're not necessarily pushing the bomb site that or the room that needs to be pushed. Eunice tags another kill onto Stizzy. That's going to be the first 2 members down on Millenium. 5-3 in favor of Penta at the moment.
Yeah, they have taken control over Armory, Millenium that is, and but that's not really a big deal for Penta because, ladies and gentlemen, they're not defending ventilation, which means having control over Armory establishes exactly 0 vertical control. They are going to have control over these 2 roamers, but that's not anything important.
Oh, and there's a couple more shots coming in from server. That's Fabian peeking on up through the dropper, through the hole in the main in the floor. Pengu tosses out 1 gas grenade. They are pinching inside of the archives now. Eunice tags a 3rd and final kill there on Ranchero. Last 2 alive going to be Yogurts and Liven. Fabian gets tagged here, and as Yogurts picked up 1 kill, 1 frag, and Eunice going to run away here. Wait for the last 2 members from Millenium to push on in. Eunice is going to be there. He tags down a 4th kill. Can he grab the ace? He's got Yogurts. Very low health. He's going to be coming here. Can he grab it? He goes for the ace, but he misses it. And that's going to be Yogurts denying the 5K. And there comes a 2nd frag here. Pengu goes down. 2 members left to go, but there's not enough time. And we will have Yogurts, last man alive, just not able to get in sight, plant that diffuser, and that is going to be Penta, again, successfully winning the first defensive round here on Border.
What a nice attempt there for an ace from Eunice. That is truly unfortunate. But it will still be a 4K, and a very impressive one. Going against a team like Millenium, that is nothing to scoff at, as more importantly, in this particular map, that was the very first defense win we've seen here on Border, which is going to give Penta a significant lead. Also, if Penta manages to get another win on the attack, which is predictable, I think that's what we're kind of expecting to see here, as I don't think Millenium, they're not going to be defending customs. They're going to be going into Armory again. So
this is their 3rd attempt.
Yeah, it's the 3rd attempt. They're not going anywhere but Armory. They just want to hammer this out. Anyway, if Millenium managed to win this, then that'd be, we're bouncing right back to the back and forth. But Penta should, by all accounts, win this round, put themselves in match point 4-2. Now, let's talk about that defense from the last round. Millenium knew, because they'd seen that strat before through VODs, that they could not address the custom site itself. They could not simply push into the site because they would then be killed from above in CCTV. So they were like, okay, well, we need to take control over CCTV before we attack the site. That's a requirement. In the process of taking control of CCTV, how can you do that? We talked about the balcony game earlier. You can't really address the CCTV from the balcony. It's too dangerous. It's basically suicide. So Millenium was like, okay, well then we'll start our take with offices, archives, and then push into Armory. Then from Armory, we can poise ourselves well to take out the players inside CCTV. So they started with that, and unfortunately, it took them so much time because Penta was counting on this. It took them so much time to take control over Armory and archives that then they didn't have any time to take onto the site or CCTV.
What did Yogurts do?
I honestly do not know. I didn't quite see it. Maybe he was peeking out?
Yeah, so he will get down to pick back up to get 50 health. But I don't know, sure. I didn't see where he got peeked off.
Whatever the case be, was you may have noticed, Falco is no longer roaming downstairs. He has rotated into an office hold, and I think that's the right move. He's defended it he's tried to roam downstairs twice now and had 0 success. Now he's going to be able to play in offices, which is going to lend him quite a lot of maneuverability as well as pressure onto the Penta attack. However,
Yogurt trying to tag kills down there. That is KS trying to fight back up. He gets that mirror window opened up though, and that's going to be a very good utility gone for the attacking, for the defending squad. Now, right over the half wall is going to be Bandit. That's going to be Stiz, and looks like KS is ready to try to open this up. More Renshiro still finding his way here Grenade's gonna come on up and unfortunately not go to where it needs to. Renshiro very close on. He's gonna peek on out and actually tag a couple shots into KS. The missed frag grenade, and the shots will land down onto him. Renshiro using that MPX to its fullest. Picks off the buck, and the pressure from underneath has been alleviated.
That is a significant kill there, to say the least. That actually might be the start of the first defense win for Millenium.
Oh, and this is where Pengu knows, okay, hey, there's someone tucked away there. I cannot give this angle up. It's going to force him there, but he gets a little bit too close, and Yogurt's able to get the frag down there onto Pengu. Now another kill comes from Falco.
Wow.
He's finally managing to do some stuff for his team as Yogurts tags a second frag. Oh, a nice headshot by Goga. He gets one, but cannot get the other. Yogurts, I think, picked up a 3 kill this round.
Yeah, that was indeed a 3K there from Yogurts. Well played to him. Despite the fact that his mirror window had been opened, he still managed to put on the pressure to that A wall and keep his team alive. Now it is going to be, I believe, a 3-3 as this map continues on. A complete slugfest, as was predicted between Penta and Millenium. Armory Lockers is going to be our next defense for Penta. Makes sense considering their success on customs. Now they're going to have to get their first win on the Armory hold. They were unsuccessful here previously.
Now I think what's going to favor Penta here is they've gone, like we said, to 3 different bomb sites so far, and they've been able to try and not test out, but they've been able to attempt different strategies or different ways of holding these sites. They're now able to take that time, give their coach in the back seat, give them time to analyze what happened, what went wrong. They're now back at this site, hopefully with some new tactics, some new arrangements. And on Millenium, unfortunately, doesn't have that same luxury because they chose that top 4 bomb site 3 times until it was successful. So when they go to defend next round, they could run into some hurdles or some opportunities that they weren't expecting.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, more, I mean, aside from that also, just kind of being a little bit predictable. But on the note of predictability, Penta attacked through that A wall every single round on this top floor attack. They didn't try to go for offices once. They were so very focused on the A bomb site, and I think that allowed Millenium to fly, well, they stacked, you could tell, very heavily stacked onto that A wall. Now we are going to see Millenium seemingly looking to take control over the east stairs, which lends them quite a lot of control over the east balconies as a whole. And this is what I talked about earlier when you were referencing the skyscraper balconies. This is one of the things that makes them really different. Is it's actually easy as an attacking team to take control over east stairs before you start to play those balconies on the east side, and that lends you then the ability to easily beachhead onto offices. More importantly, it's easy to hold control over these stairs. I mean, there's not really a good flank opportunity for the defenders there, as long as you have a gun pointed at it.
Now I believe Eunice has not been detected just yet. And so Renshiro's still just going to actively watch the flank, but not in any set direction. However, there is Stiz. He heard the shots from Eunice, but I don't think Eunice realized that there's someone out there. He might have heard the bullet shot or seen the bullet shot on the camera. But nonetheless, we will see Stiz get back upstairs, try to open up some of this west wall as Renshiro forcefully moves his way from the east stairs into the main hallway and corridor.
A slow attack here from Millenium, but it will be rewarded with a kill onto Eunice. Way outside on the front door. I think that was Eunice on the main stairs. Being a little too aggressive, trying to peek outside. Goga's gonna get flashbanged here in a second. C4 is gonna be the response, but it will miss its target. Renshiro is trying to challenge onto the sandwich hold. Meanwhile, we will have Pengu get a kill onto Yogurts. It's a good refrag, but the pressure is mounting here for Penta as Millenium starts their attack.
Gas grenade comes out. That's going to force Stiz to back on out. No, he's actually going to plant right inside. I don't know if Pengu's going to hear it. He's going to try to go for the shots there, but it looks as though the glass shots will go on through. Missed their target. KS with another C4 kill. Wonderful job there. Final gas grenade gets pushed on out. That's 30 seconds left to go. And they are going to have a lot of time still to try to get this plant down. 25 seconds on the board. A 4-on-3. Liven, Falco, and Renshiro are going to make work of it here. Renshiro picks up the first frag to even out man count. We We'll have Glass trying to hold this down. Last EMP is going to go through. That's going to allow just a little bit of sound notification, a little sound distraction, try to get this plant down. But he is going to miss his target, cannot get inside enough, and Renshiro pokes his way into the middle hall door. He will move into one kill into Pengu, turns around with a deagle on the right side, and then gets traded out by Fabian and KS. Last frag will go down from KS on the Liven, and we will see PENTA secure this round, going up 4-3 now.
Good defense for PENTA and their first successful armory hold at that. Unfortunately for Millenium, we saw a little bit of a spread out attack, not a very focused one onto that A wall. More importantly, despite the fact that they got that mirror window open, they still were unable to deal with the player inside a small office. Now that was, in this instance, the smoke, that Pengu, and because he was allowed to delay for so long, it then resulted in his team being able to collapse on the Millenium attack once it actually started pushing into the bomb site. Even though, at the end, Pengu was taken out. I mean, wasting as much time as he did, that's the important factor.
Now you can see since the rehost after round 3, we have, I believe it is Yogurts just kicking it strong for Millenium. Albeit, he hasn't necessarily been able to carry the team to victory. He has kind of kept them at bay.
But they lost 3 out of the 4 rounds on this particular, after the rehost. And now PENTA on match point are looking to finish things up with an attack onto the ventilation. Now, the interesting thing here, and it might be towards the favor of Millenium, it might be towards the favor of PENTA, is that Millenium has as of yet to defend the basement, or well, I say the basement, the ventilation. They've been focused entirely on that top floor, trying to pound it out, and they only got their first win just a while ago. Now, if Millenium are successful here, then we are going to go on to overtime. Likely going to look for that rehost, try and get that overtime to be correct, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Now, you might have been thinking, what was Eunice doing just tossing the X-Kairos through the window there? That would just get rid of some of the ADSs early on in the round, so that if they need to toss in flashbangs, smokes, what have you, it will not get destroyed by those ADSs. KS is going to work his way over here to box. That's going to be outside of the security lounge, the inspections, custom inspections. Looks as though Fabian and KS might be working together to try to get a pinch on anyone who could be spotted out by Eunice's drone.
Just like PENTA's going for that roam clear, same as usual, except for this time they're clearing straight into the bomb site. I mean, PENTA's been focused on taking from the southwest over to the entire first floor this entire match. But interestingly, now that they're attacking onto ventilation itself, well, Yogurts is going to go ahead and say no, he can't do that, but he will be refragged by KS. So despite the fact that Yogurts got a nice double kill, we are going to still see not a huge stretch for PENTA. They can still bring this back. Now, the important thing, again, that I was trying to talk about before Yogurts went and got a double kill is that PENTA is attacking into one anchor as of this particular moment. That's going to be Liven.
Yeah, and although Falco tried to come on out of, I believe that was the servers, and push his way towards the west staircase and help pick up a couple kills inside of the inspection lens, but he did go down there by KS. KS picked a double kill there earlier on. Pengu, however, will trade one down to the headshot there of Stiz. Tries to go for another one under Renshiro, goes for the tag, but misses it. An instant trade comes out, go for Live and Renshiro for Pengu.
I think this is going to be match point, though. Goga is going to challenge onto Renshiro. Renshiro is one hit, and as a 3 armor, that really does render you very harmless, to be honest. It's going to be complicated for him to actually get this kill.
He doesn't necessarily have the speed to go for a quick peek or a little jiggle peek, as it's called in some areas. However, he is going to look for the shots there. He has the holes to try to open up, make sure that he can kill off the diffuser planter.
I like how cautious PENTA is being right here. They're not really taking any unnecessary risks, and they totally faked out Renshiro just now.
They did. Renshiro will have to follow on through. One shot down. His feet don't even get to touch, and that is going to be PENTA securing map number 1. We are now going to head to our second map right after this, which is going to be on Consulate.
I love on that last round how PENTA when they were taking into the build or taking into the site, they were like, okay, well, Renshiro's above us in archive, so we
Yes.
can't go into A. So let's just rotate over to B. And then before they actually committed to the B push, they realized, wait. They probably have murder holes above B looking towards the door, and then they rotated back. That was a great fake out and probably just a right mid-play change to give them that round and thus the map. So let's take a look at some of the highlights from said map, which was Border, where Penta managed to come out on top very narrowly, we have to say. I mean, Millenium put up a great fight.
I mean, each and every one of these rounds, that actually could have been round ended there for Millenium if the diffuser did not get planted. Each of these come down to a one-on-one, one-on-two in a very close fashion.
Oh, what a kill there. Just barely seeing Falco's gun, and with a hollow sight as well. Extremely impressive eyesight.
This was Eunice's 4K. That round there where he was able to pick up the sledge, he opened up the castle barricade. Now again, this was after the rehost, and there we just have it, multiple refrags, multiple trades back and forth. Penta ultimately coming out on top 5-3 on that first map. Second map we're going to get underway here is going to be on Consulate.
Correct. It is going to be Consulate. Our last and final map, if we get to it, will be Oregon. Well, that's going to come down to Millenium if they manage to win here on Consulate. Now, that's a complicated prospect.
It is.
Because we're talking about Penta on Consulate. Now, we discussed this earlier in the ban phase. We're talking about Penta on Consulate. Penta's always been really strong on Consulate, and the complication that might actually work against Penta, despite the fact that this is one of their preferred maps, is that Falco is now playing for the opposite team, Millenium, and Falco, as an individual, is an extremely proficient Consulate player. So, will it balance out?
So, I know you've not necessarily changed from team to team before when during your pro league side.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you is your insight in regards to, with Falco moving from Penta now over to Millenium, we know that the teams are able to view each other's VODs. They're able to get that sort of intel. What other type of information could Falco potentially have about Penta that isn't visible to the world or publicly? Like, what could he bring to Millenium that would give them an advantage?
Individual player preferences, and there are undeniably certain things that, certain little fidgets that, or routines that players will find themselves locked into, whether they know it or not, subconsciously. And when you get to watching it, just watching these players play these matches, you won't necessarily notice them. But when you play on a team with all these other guys and you're
playing for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day.
Right, exactly. In scrims, in dry runs, you really start to understand and get into the mind of your teammates, and you can pick apart all of those routines that, for example, something that I'll do or some other players will do is they'll put their drones in a specific spot to go then pick up said drone before they conduct themselves attacking onto depending the bomb site. So if on Consulate, if you're talking to the top floor, or you're going to put your drone here. You're talking about a bottom floor, you're going to put your drone here, and then you're going to go try to pick it up before after the prep phase is done. And there are certain routines like that that someone like Falco, having played for Penta as long as he did, and throughout the entire previous season, he's going to be able to, try and lend some insight into something like that, and maybe even set up some kills or some spawn kills based off that information.
You talk about routines. I'm thinking back to myself on what bomb sites or on what spawns do I like to spawn at, and then from that spawn, what avenue do I like to take?
Yeah.
Like, let's say, for example, on Chalet, you spawn at the campfire spawn up in that corner by the master bedroom balcony. That spawn, do you go left towards the camera, or do you go right down towards garage?
So,
like those types of routines, I think you hit the nail on the head there, is what Falco could potentially bring to Millenium today.
Yeah, also, there's, as an individual pro player, if you guys are just wondering, if you're trying to get into the pro scene and you're trying to think about one little thing that you can give yourself to give you just a slight edge up, is no routines. Don't give yourself routines. I mean, it's good to professionalize, but pick an operator, sure. But when it comes to spawning and patterns for droning, try to keep yourself loose and go for random. Like sensible but random.
I think that's one of the things that Flipside has mentioned, and they wanted to bring Chala on for that fact. Let's head into the game, though, as we are going to get underway with our second map in this best-of-3 series. It's going to be on Consulate, Penta starting on attack, and Millenium on defense.
And the lobby as well. That's quite an interesting development. Now, we've seen lobby selected as the secondary bomb site, even sometimes the first, sure. But it is still a little bit weird when we see it as that first bomb site. Now, Consulate, all sites are defensible. Let's get that out the way. And
by attackers.
it really doesn't, it's not going to be a bad thing defending the first floor first, but it's just a little bit different. It's, I mean, let's talk about last season or even 2 seasons ago. The meta was completely opposite. I mean, everyone defended the top floor and then the basement. Nobody wanted to go into the first floor, and now it's first floor and basement. Now nobody wants to go into the top floor. It's complete meta shifts over, you know, the spans of just a month.
I wanted to see a fuse here. We still might, I mean, obviously this is still round number 1. We still have potentially 10 more rounds to go. But I want to see fuse on this map because you've said it multiple times that you feel this is the most destructible map in the game with regards to its vertical play.
Well, with regards to its vertical game specifically, absolutely. It's got 3 floors, and you can establish plenty of angles through all 3 of said floors. Like, you can shoot somebody in the basement. Okay, for where Shiro is right now, he could shoot somebody down in server if he opened up the holes.
Yep.
And I mean, on border, border's probably the most destructible overall, horizontally and vertically, but it's only got 2 floors, so there's not nearly as much verticality happening there.
The layer of angles are that much more, adding that 3rd floor here.
Yeah. Just a slight more elevation. And
guess what? Pengu's on this window here up by balcony.
so we're talking about routines. No, but seriously, this is just about what Pengu does every single round. And I tell you what, it's because it's so difficult to counter him when he plays the balcony. He almost always just gets a couple kills here, and everyone knows he does it, but he still is so proficient at it that it doesn't matter. Yogurt's going to get the first kill of the round, though. That's going to be onto KS, playing that buck, repelling on the south window. Good start there for Millenium. He's also going for the aggressive peek.
Oh, he might have seen the head there, but missed it.
Just barely.
Yogurts did take massive damage, though, in that engagement with KS, and so he's going to walk away into the copy room and into the break room, picking up Mira, who's been injured. I want to say by the window, which is where Eunice was. Flashbang's going to go out. He's going to flash himself. Now, if he didn't do that, I would have expected to repel inside. However, Goga did manage to get into the admin room, so they will be looking to pinch inside. Goga goes for the shots, misses it. Oh, no, that's actually Renshiro, misses his target. Will he be taken out of commission? Fabian smacks a double kill down, picking up 2 frags on the Yogurt and Renshiro. They now have taken up the kill on the KS and said, we raise you a double kill. And now it's a 4-on-3 engagement with Penta leading in favor here on round number 1.
I just want to emphasize the fact that Penta put 3 players into that push onto admin. And a lot of teams would just commit 1 or 2. Strategically, they'd be like, okay, you go over to admin and start to take onto the defenders there. And that would be what happened. And then you drone for them. So it'd be 2 taking, 1 droning. And in this instance, Penta adapted. They're like, okay, yes, 2 taking, 1 droning. And then as soon as they realized they needed extra help, we saw Fabian go, all right, I'm coming. We're going for it. And if he hadn't appeared there, it would have been a swift double kill for Millenium and the opposite result. It would have been Millenium at the man disadvantage. But at the same time, only 26 seconds to go here for Penta.
Penta is being very cautious on this push, as they do know that Pulse is underneath here. Looks as though Falco will tag 1 kill down, goes for a second, pulls out the pistol, but misses it, and that's going to be Falco, or Fabian, picking up the trade there, and we're going to have Penta secure this round after a double kill from Fabian, and Pengu also getting the last kill here.
A 4K as well for Fabian overall throughout that round. Very impressive play to him. Really showing up when he's most needed for his team. So a good top clear from Penta, and then after they took out the top floor, they shifted quickly down into the main basement with the sound man advantage. All they needed to do was take those fights and win them, and they did just that. Now, Penta going down into, well, actually, I say down into because I'm expecting a basement hold, but it is in fact a top floor defense from Penta. This is counter to every other region we've seen so far in the last 2 weeks, I'd say. Yep. Most of them have been favoring the basement and the middle floor. This top floor has been kind of shunned as of late. I'm not sure why exactly. Could be the Blackbeard play. Not sure. You know what? I'll talk to them after, because it is curious that we've been seeing so little top floor play as compared to previous seasons.
Now, talking about maps and the relevance of IQ, Border, IQ and, or sorry, Border, Consulate, and I want to say Skyscraper are probably the three most, we'll call it IQ-ist maps, where you're going to see IQ utilized the most.
Skyscraper is vicious with those Valkyrie cams. There
Yes.
are so many little places to hide them outside. It's actually crazy. And yeah, you do need an IQ definitively on that map. Oregon also could be maybe put into that little group.
Agreed, yep.
Absolutely on Border. You know, all of those maps. You're definitely right. There's a lot of instances. I mean, Canal too, but that's not in the Pro League map pool. There's a lot of instances where you need those cameras outside, and you will see them. And in this instance, Liven is ready to receive them with his IQ sensor. You're just going to be playing aggressive on this first floor, looking for opportunities to run out. And because his camera was taken out, I don't think he's actually going to go for anything here. He's probably just going to try and waste some time. Chiro's taking up the A balcony, where we saw Pengu play previously. This is just the role of a Blackbeard here, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, enemy's going to move outside. That's Fabian picking up the trade there onto Stiz. Renshiro also caught in a pickle, but he's able to get his head over the wall, and we will see him trade down the kill there onto Eunice. He did take massive damage, though.
Actually, he didn't lose his shield. It's actually, I think it's just invisible on his gun right now. But like you said, took massive damage. 1 HP Blackbeard is almost useless. He's going to have to play very aggressive head
Guess
glitching.
what? Gas Grenade is most likely going to finish him off. There comes the trade down. Pengu getting the frag as he knifes Renshiro, vaulting through the window.
Good kill there from Pengu. And a nice job holding down the A balcony. Now, it's doable as a smoke, but it's still very difficult. From inside the A bomb site, you have almost no cover. Millenium, meanwhile, the rest of them are progressed into the admin office, and they are going to start taking on to A. Yogurt's going to get a nice swift kill onto Fabian, and that's going to be now a 3-on-3. Still plenty of time here for Millenium.
Yeah, 60 seconds, and they're just a mere 5-second walk into the bomb site, but that 5-second walk is going to be thwarted here by 3 defenders, Goga, Case, and Pengu. They still have lots of utility and lots of cover to make this their own. We are going to see a push from Yogurts work his way into that middle reception area. He knows Goga's on the right-hand side, but some shots come through the wall as it looks like a camera was able to spot him out. A nice SMG-11 kill onto Falco from Pengu. More shots to C4 coming out of the hands of Goga, and we are going to see this move in even a little bit more as Yogurts gets taken out of commission, and Goga getting the last kill onto Liven.
Nice hold there from Penta. Millenium a little bit, well, I want to say tunnel vision, a little bit focused on one end of the map, but to be completely honest, it's the same take we've seen a lot of other teams execute successfully more often than not. Something happened there. I think the aggression from Penta, that Jaeger getting the pick early, and then the Bandit running out. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, the Bandit running out was unsuccessful. No, as a matter of fact, it lit up the Blackbeard to the point at which Pengu didn't have to do much in order to win that challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that that was actually really essential. He actually downed the Blackbeard as Blackbeard was vaulting away from the smoke. And he got the knife kill, but it was on a downed player.
It was one of those fight or flight things. I mean, I know for a fact that the Bandit, I think it would have been Falco or Stiz, one of the two, or no, sorry, it would have been someone on Penta. The Bandit, whoever was Eunice, ran outside, got Blackbeard lit up, and said he is a mere sliver from health. And that's why you saw the gas grenade go out once Blackbeard landed on top of the balcony. And that's why you saw him go in that fight or flight mode and decide, I need to basically do both. Fly away from the gas grenade, fight who's ever inside of the site.
Yeah, and as soon as that pressure from the A balcony, as well as having the distinct man advantage, having got that kill early, as soon as that pressure from the A balcony, though, was alleviated for Penta, all he had to do was focus on the take from admin, and it was a very simple hold from there. Unfortunately, Millenium didn't rotate anyone off of their admin take to go for that A balcony. You really need A balcony control to make that attack work. Now, we are seeing Millenium, again, going on to defense, but this time it's going to be on the basement instead of the first floor. And going to be going on to attack here. And Millenium, as you can tell, have invested utility and players, roamers that is, into this first floor, trying to hold from the bathroom. We've seen this through a couple different regions. In this particular instance, though, no mirror windows being used in the bathroom.
Yeah, we saw the late reinforcement there by Stiz, and as you called it out, there's no mirror window, which has almost been the line of sight into the piano room.
Kind of seems a little bit on the fly here in terms of this defense from Millenium, which might not be the worst thing, though. But it is noticeably on the fly considering the late reinforcements there. The lobby drop-down is going to get opened up, though. That's PENTA establishing a lot of control over the office. Or sorry, not the office, excuse me. The kitchen. That's going to force a lot of the Millenium players to back off a little bit from that kitchen hold. You can see PENTA still a little bit cautious of the roam game happening upstairs, which I don't believe there is any, but of course they're not omniscient and they don't know that. Falco is playing inside of Visa, and I don't think he's been spotted out.
He has not, and at the same time, we are seeing PENTA kind of put their back to it.
Yeah, they're worried of it, of course, or they're worried about this, the possibility of Falco being there, of course, but they don't. I don't think any of them are thinking to themselves right now, oh, there's definitely a Falco in Visa. It's kind of like, it's really, it's different roam. It's not
now
what you're used to.
We did see Yogurt's default back off. He's going to be inside of the kitchen now after dropping in through bathroom into the garage. With both of these hatches getting opened up, and there's, no, I was going to say there's still some X-Kairos, so I think he's the last of them. That will mean we are going to see a nice push here. Falco giving off of Visa. He's going to go up the circle stairs now. That
might have been a mistake, but going for those spiral stairs could be just as useful.
Shot's going to come up from Renshiro by pipes, I think that was. No, that's going to be behind the van? Is that the middle office? No, that's middle office. A good line of sight, though.
Falco needs to capitalize on this push to give his team the advantage here.
There are 30 seconds left to go. You can see the members from Millenium. You can see the members from PENTA. Fabian gets tagged a couple shots there from underneath. Falco coming in with a big, strong double kill. Flank from the circle stairs. Sweeping on in. He's going to pick up 2 as Goga and Stid take down to their own. You've got 4. 2 on 1 now. Last man in the line is going to be Pengu. Goes, tags on 1. That's a double kill for him. He's got to get 2 more frags. Pulls out that deco, goes for another one there, and the Stiz grabs it. Can he go for the last one? No, it will not happen. From behind, Falco tags another one from above, and that is going to be Millenium finally getting onto the board here. They're only down by 1 round after 3 rounds getting played here on Consulate.
So remember yesterday, not yesterday, excuse me, remember Tuesday when we were talking about ints on Bank not clearing out the roam game? That was on Bank. This is on Consulate, a considerably smaller map. And the fact that PENTA unfortunately did not take the time to clear out Visa before going into their attack resulted in, as you could tell, a swift double kill from Falco and then a complete lockdown of the flank and even a 3K overall to finish it off. And it was a 3K from Falco, and it put it into a 1 versus 1 despite that fact. 2 of the PENTA players were eliminated without doing anything really. And then even that, and despite that, again, PENTA still managed to bring it into a 1-on-1. And so if they had just locked down that roam game, if PENTA had just covered all their bases, we would have seen an easy PENTA win there.
It was a little bit about not clearing out the roamers, but again, it was also more about just not covering their flank. I mean, you cannot let the circle stairs go, because ultimately they didn't need to clear Visa. We had Falco go back downstairs.
Right,
he
but
defaulted off of it.
The argument is that they could have. It would have taken like all of 15 seconds.
They could have.
Because Consulate is a tiny map compared to Bank. I mean, we're not talking about droning every nook and cranny of Bank. You know, we're not talking about going through loan office, through small office, through storage, through stock, through CEO. I mean, you're right, if they just watch their flank as well. But in this instance, they could have just cleared it.
Yep, if they would have challenged onto Falco, they most likely would have come out on top.
Yeah.
But no, they didn't, and it cost them the round.
It's unfortunate. But now, Millenium with their first round, and by the way, well played to Falco. Really putting himself in the perfect spot as a roamer, not being detected and coming at the right moment. Falco's always been good at finding that exact moment to pounce as a roamer.
We talk about how pro players do tend to have some favorite maps. They do have to tend some favorite bomb sites on those maps and whatnot. Consulate is Falco. It's synonymous with Falco. On Border, he did struggle a little bit. He got picked off as Jaeger a couple times early on.
Absolutely.
And this time, he's come back around, and now we see this shining. We know this is his map, and he's bringing it to him.
I think the one thing that we notice about Falco on this map is that he just seems to be able to move right. I think he understands it well. What? We do have Renshiro being eliminated early. That's the Blackbeard. Huge chess piece off the board. Good job to Eunice there.
Yoger's going to flashbang into the Visa. It looks as though he's going to go for the shot down to Goga, toss it in 1 flashbang, and then after that goes up, we'll have a blind Valkyrie, and there will be the final kill, and there's a nice job there. However, Yoger's tagged over the side. I think it was by his own teammate. As we have Bandit, that was Eunice, moving on down from the server or circle stairs. He's now inside of the main reception lobby.
So despite the fact that Goga's been taken out, that's still going to be really comfortable for the defenders because, again, not having that Blackbeard, that's a huge pushing force, just doesn't exist anymore.
Now we still have over 1/3 of the round left to go. Again, bomb sites are downstairs, and Penta's in a position to stop this push on the north and the west side of the map. However, they are allowing a little bit of room for Millenium to push in onto the east and southeast corners.
Millenium just honestly trying to do that top to bottom clear, but the problem is that they've only got 47 seconds to go, and they're only just now coming into that first floor. And they got to attack into the basement. I mean, there's no vertical control that's going to be able to actually be fully utilized here from Millenium. They have the buck, but they won't be able to make it happen with the time left.
Now, Falco's seeming to be a little bit spooked at the moment. He was just about to toss a nade down towards Piano where Eunice was, rotated around. So we have 25 seconds to go, and Millenium is progressing very slowly. Eunice picks up 1 kill into Stiz. That's going to be from Piano. Falco now knows there's someone in here. He's going to go for the pre-fire poke. Falco will go down. Another kill by Eunice. A little tag there onto the drone is live. Gets a frag onto Fabian. KS with another one. Eunice with a 3K to end the round here. Penta goes up now 3-1.
Eunice has been absolutely dominating, and I think that was actually a 4K because he got the first kill of the round.
You're right, that was a 4K for him.
So just tremendous play. He not only has been playing well on Consulate here so far, and putting his team in a great position. I mean, now it's 3-1 for Penta. He also played earlier well on Border. Eunice has been stepping it up today.
Yeah, that's his second 4K of the day. That first one almost went into an ace on Border.
So close.
It was literally one bullet away.
Yeah, he just barely missed the shot onto the Ash. He was like an inch off. He shot to the left and then to the right of the Ash, just barely missing.
That's the demon for you.
Yeah, it happens. You know, when you're shooting at a 3 speed, that's the size of a stick. Now, we do have, of course, Penta. They got to be feeling comfortable here. And now, interestingly, Millenium's actually going to go on to their lobby hold.
This is what they started out on,
yeah.
and they were, unfortunately, did not do it successfully.
I don't think so. I think they kind of struggled with this a little bit. They also struggled with their basement hold, I believe it was. But they did end up winning that. That was the round that they managed to win. So I'm curious, why are they not going to the top? You know, why not try to bring that variation? Is it just something they practice? Is it just preference? What's the thought process there? Because I mean, we've seen from Penta, they'll go anywhere. You know, they'll move around, and it's been working for them.
Now this Valk cam here, I don't think is going to stand the test of the round here, but I think it will allow Yogurts to peek on out and grab a kill if he spots a member from Penta, just dilly-dallying along towards the front of the map. First kill lands from Pengu onto Falco. That's taking out the Pulse, that's taking out the C4, that's also taking out the vertical play from underneath, I want to say.
These metal windows here on Spiral are sorely underutilized, and good play there from Pengu to capitalize on that fact. Goga is going to get another kill onto Yogurts. Now it does seem like it's going to be a match point here for Penta in a 5 versus 3.
Yeah, this round is looking pretty decisive in favor of Penta. KS going to do his own work here from the Visa hallway over towards reception. Stiz is already looking in towards the back hallway here, where KS is about to progress into.
Bomb located by
Goga right now, he doesn't need to play overly aggressive. He's just playing passively, holding down the softer angle, allowing for Penta to push in from Visa. There comes the flashbangs out. Eunice going to be blinded a little bit, so with Pengu. And there's some kills going down live and picking up Goga at least. He was able to take out Stiz in return. Last two alive here from Millenium. Going to be Renshiro and Liven in a 3-on-2. They're now both back here by bathroom and back hallway by the circle stairs. Moving on over. The drones are going to be spotting them out of the cameras. Looks like Eunice gets tagged on down. The last two alive going to be planting the diffuser. There's going to be one kill from Pengu on Renshiro. Last man alive is going to be Liven. And he is going to move in the same way that his teammate just went down. Eunice gets picked on up. That's going to take it on down. And the last frag will be from Pengu here onto Live. And you cannot win this fight against Pengu.
Nope. I like how Liven is using the Penta charm going up against Penta right now. And
Is
now,
he?
Yeah, he is. He's using the Penta charm. And now we will, I mean, showing your support there. That's respectable. But in this instance, it is unfortunately going to be working against them. I'm sure that the charm from that charm is causing this match point already here from Penta on Consulate. This is, of course, the second map of this series. Penta won previously on Border, so if Penta managed to win here and finish this up, then it is going to be a 2-0 against Millenium.
That charm has got to be bewitched or something. Right now, like Millenium is definitely like fighting for the rounds here, but it's just not going in their favor when push comes to shove. When gun meets gun, it is Penta coming out on top.
Yeah, so on that note, what we saw there from Penta was a very simple attack. There's no floof, no complication, apart from the one caveat of being Pengu playing on that those metal windows. Those metal having him there covered a whole angle for the attackers. So when you're progressing through the Visa hallway onto the main bomb site in Spiral's desk, you have to deal with 3 different things. You have to deal with the stop of Spiral, somebody dropping down on you. You have to deal with the Spiral desk, and you have to deal with somebody challenging you from Yellow Stairs hallway. Those are your 3 angles. And when you have Pengu repelling on that metal window, you eliminate 2 angles. You take care of the top angle, you take care of the Spiral's desk angle. And then all the attackers have to focus on is just that Yellow Stairs hallway peak. And which means that as soon as Millenium commits to any of those, then they're kind of signing their death warrant, because there is almost certainly, well, there is definitively an attacker holding those angles, and that's what we saw happen. When Millenium saw that the attack was coming from Visa, they challenged through all 3 of these angles, and they got taken apart by Pengu repelling on those metal windows, and then just the direct challenge from Yellow Stairs got met with somebody prepared, or more than somebody, a couple people prepared from Visa. Now, that as a result, we do have, again, Penta on match point.
Yeah, Penta on match point. This is match point, series point, LAN invitation point. If Penta can secure this round or any of the next 3 rounds, they will be guaranteeing their spot to come to Cologne, Germany, where we'll likely see Pengu's hair change color yet again.
Yeah. I want to know what mouse he's going to be using when he gets here, because I've talked to him a couple times over the last couple months, and every time it's like, oh no, I'm using this now. Oh wait, I'm using this now. I mean, he makes them all work amazingly well. But I'm just curious. I want to know what he's going to bring to land.
Now we are going to see Millenium try to push their way in from copy room and admin over towards the east end of the map here. Again, bomb site is going to be top floor. We actually might have a little bit of engagement here between Smoke. No, that's Eunice. Eunice right on the other side of the perception desk, going for the kill there onto Renshiro. Does massive damage, able to escape without taking a single point of damage.
That's actually really bad for Renshiro. As a Blackbeard, you have to commit to those peaks. And if he had committed, he would have killed Eunice. I mean, like, absolutely. But because he didn't, he lost a lot of HP for nothing, and more importantly, somewhat, a Blackbeard shield.
Now he will get injured.
Yeah, they're gonna reset him, of course. But still, 1 Blackbeard shield down and 50 HP. That's not as fearsome as a full HP Blackbeard. Meanwhile, I mean, the important thing there for Penta is that they just wasted a bunch of time.
Oh, and that's some good shots there coming out. I want to say that was from KS. Yes, KS looking down the hallway. He's going to get rid of the Hibana charges. That's 2 sets of pellets gone. And that means it is going to be a fort here trying to get inside of the site.
And you can see here a lot of information Penta have on Millenium right now. They're fully aware of Millenium's attack straight in from the admin office. Also, we are just now having Renshiro get onto this balcony, but he will get a kill onto Junis. That's a really important frag there with only 30 seconds. Pengu is going to be the last defender inside the A bomb site.
And he knows flashbangs are going to come on in. If he gets blinded fully, you'll see him toss out another gas grenade, but he's still to see if Renshiro moves in. And Renshiro's still outside. And we are going to see Stiz try to move in from the stairwell on the east balcony. There comes a shot. He's going to tag another, goes for the shot, but misses. And KS and Pengu, KS another back and forth. Last 2 alive, going to be Falco and Liven. Falco gets taken out. Last man alive needs to be live, and he got to get a 1-on-4 clutch. Cannot get it. Golga swings around for the bathroom. And we will have Penta secure round number 6. They're going to take map number 2. They're also going to take that invitation to Cologne, Germany to compete in the LAN finals for season 2.
Congratulations to Penta. Well-deserved. Millenium seemingly not on the same page here today, and a very definitive victory for Penta. Now, what happened in that last